You're listening to WRFB Radio Free Britannia. And no other better freaking place in the world than Deltona, Florida. Here you are, lunch with no other than a dynamic duo, Laz and Jack.
Greetings, everybody. This is Laz.
User entered your channel.
And this is Jack. Welcome to Lunch with Laz and Jack. In the studio today, we have a few people with us. We have Knex, Cigar TV, Scroda, and Torque in the studio.
Yes, Scroda's joined us today. Jacob Von Buckham, thank you for hosting. We do appreciate it. Out over on Twitch, we got Jacob over there. We got a couple other people I can't read from over here.
KK, I Am Blue, and 10 Decker.
And a Kush lady has just joined us. Welcome, everybody. Today is February 11th, 2016, here in Shroud at Avatar. It's a Thursday. It's been a quiet week. Not a whole lot going on. Usually we would be planning for a post-mortem today, I believe it would be. We got Friday.
Yeah, normally, but they had that last Friday, yeah.
Due to a little rampant bug out there in the system, caused them to get out there and make announcements. And, of course, I think Star was going to Europe this week as well, so everybody wasn't going to be in the office. Maynard, thank you very much. We appreciate everybody. Let me switch over to my open mic here real quick.
Well, for some reason, people are texting me left and right.
Hey, you know, that if people are texting and they're going to be joking about us, or you just happen to be getting weird texts at this time of the day. Oh, here comes Casey Cupcakes. Oh, we got a crowd.
Okay, so since Laz is messing around with his microphone, and Casey, welcome, Casey Cupcakes. You're a little
what
late.
happened there?
I think someone's text messages probably got you to come along. So today on the plate, we're going to talk about the Eurogamer article that is talking about the housing market, because it is something that does warrant being spoken about, as well as trying to fix Laz's microphone.
Yeah,
we can ever
I'm
get
here.
that
You
done.
just can't hear me.
Making fun of Casey, which is going to be the easy thing. We have the stand-up corner that we can always talk about as well.
We'll be right
That's if it was posted yesterday.
Disconnected.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that microphone, folks, but let's see if this fixes it right back.
And there is no stand-up corner from yesterday.
No, there's not.
Welcome back, Laz.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. We fix. We move on.
So most of our conversation today is probably going to be focused around that Eurogamer article.
Now
just because
we hit on that yesterday.
We can talk about it, and it does actually give a interesting perspective. Although I think that it's fundamentally flawed in the architecture of the article.
Now there was quite a bit in the article, and of course, right off the bat, the header is just it reads wrong. Yes, $12,000 castles and $2,100 deeds, and it goes on to talk about the land boom back in Ultima, when Ultima little lots were selling for $10,000 on eBay back in the day. And of course, Richard Garriott has commented that they learned from that. That land is what is of value to players in these types of games. But again, there's a lot of either misinformation or, just it was a quick...
Yeah, I went ahead and linked it.
For everybody?
So the actual title is $12,000 castles and $2,100 deeds inside Shroud of the Avatar's booming housing market. The unreleased game with a property market more crazy than London's.
Yeah.
Only 1% of that is true and properly researched. The title alone.
Well,
Exactly.
there is actually nothing wrong with the title when you look at it, except for the way $12,000 castles is. $2,100 deeds, we have them. There's nothing wrong with that. And the housing market.
I didn't pay $2,100 for my city lot deed.
Neither did I, but they are priced at $2,100 now.
What it should do is be up to $12,000 castles and up to $2,100 deeds.
Yes.
But I mean, he's using a rhetorical device where he's trying to capture
he's done it.
Say how horrific it is.
Well, he's captured people's
and then
attention.
Comparing it. Yeah, but it's the article itself is wrought with all kinds of misinformation. So it's
my biggest one is Metropolis is for $9,000. Now, 9 and 6 are close on the keypad, but not on the numbers up top. So, right off the bat, that and the comment about not being able to find anybody to talk to. I mean, really? Walk into the game.
That means he didn't try it. But even if you start off with the second paragraph, where he's saying, and he's talking about Richard Garriott, he's asking for hundreds, even thousands of dollars from you in return for real estate in his new game, Shroud of the Avatar. And it's working. Shroud of the Avatar has become the second highest earning crowdfunded game behind Star Citizen, with a huge portion of its income, 6 of 8 million so far, attributable to the game's online add-on store, which is dominated by all things real estate: deeds to land, houses themselves, bushes and shrubbery, decorations and statues. That right there is something that I would disagree with, because majority of that money has actually been raised by pledges, not by the add-on store items.
Store, yeah.
Because if you actually look at the add-on stores, the ones that actually we have numbers for are the stretch goals. And you can see that, like, the boats package has raised almost $20,000. The elves as a playable race has raised almost $30,000. The flexible placement has raised almost $25,000. Horses as mounts, so that way we could ride a mount in episode 1, is $21,000, and pack animals $11,000. It's one where that's right there is saying that, you know what, even things within the add-on store, if you sell, let's say 5,000 of the Cupid wings,
yeah. What are they going for?
That gets you $100,000, but say $20 at 1,000, would only get you like $100,000 if you sold 5,000 of them. And thinking that they're selling 5,000 of those Cupid wings is asinine. It's more likely 1,500.
Right.
And that only gets them $30,000, which is, hey, we can pay the rent on our office space this month. And this is where I really have a bone to pick with this article, is the fact that this is a crowd-funded game. The only way that they pay to have the lights on and to pay the developers to develop the game is to actually have money coming in. This isn't Star Citizen where they've raised $100 million. They've raised $8 million so far.
Yes.
And they have 30 employees.
All crammed into tight quarters, and we know this firsthand, being down there. But again, this is something that's being done for, and people say it's been done before. It's been done before. It hasn't been done before.
Not the way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
It has not been done the way that they're doing it. and this is where they openly have the stand-up corner, which is where they publish what is in their stand-up meeting every single day, because they do use an agile development model. And then from there, so it's like we have access to more information about the development of the game, as well as we have more influence over a game. This is one where it's like this article is fraught. It's got so much bad information that it's like I just want to like go find Robert Purchese, whatever it is, and smack him around a little bit and try to say it's like, no, this is wrong.
Now down later on in the articles, we get around to rent and stuff, and this intrigued me a little bit because there finally he gets to some prices. The deed prices scale from row to 100 through city to 2100, and come up, with an appropriate size house, blah blah blah. Keeps and castles of pledge tiers, and he starts to go into this. And then, of course, that one comment, all pledge given real estate is tax free, and those pledge tiers will disappear after the game's final wipe, expected the 28th. Yes. From then on, all characters and lot selections will be permanent. No.
That's wrong.
That's totally wrong. If I want to wipe my character any given day and restart over, I can do that. It's not permanent. If I want to pick up and move my house, I can do that. It's a free world. That's not permanent. So, has he even played this to understand the mechanics of what's going on?
Well, that and if we bring up our on our for our lot deeds, you can see that it's like I've got a selection of rent-free deeds. I've collected them from some of my different characters and put them all on one character, and you can see that I have days remaining beside every single one except for the row deed, which is still in my inventory. I don't have a lot claimed for it, and it's days remaining. I have 119 days because I logged in today. And so if I did not log in for the days remaining or pay my taxes, then my house would disappear. And so that's something that's also, and I completely had that covered up by the article, and which is something that if you're not paying attention, it's something that you're not, you can still sit there and house sit, and you can actually come up over to, if you don't own this house, you can actually see that the claim expires in about 120 days. You can go across the street, you can go other houses, and you can say, hey, you know what? We have houses that are going to be expiring. Most of these people are using rent-free deeds, but we do have a little bit of variety in the expiration as far as your neighbors go, because they haven't logged in the last couple of days. And so it's like rent-free deeds are based off of pledge tiers. So it's like for a village-sized lot, you had to have pledged $550 for a village lot deed.
And rent-free, yes.
For a rent-free village lot deed.
Now, I got a little message from Connects here asking if he's allowed to say something on the topic in general, and of course, we welcome that.
Oh, absolutely.
So what do you got for us, guys?
I was just looking at the article in general, the topic. Alone the fact $12,000 pledges. I mean, it's like paying a subscription to another MMORPG, and it kind of seems to me that he's getting upset about the fact that it's so much money at the time.
Well, and that's something I wanted to touch on.
That's also in the article. That's in the article.
I didn't read it till now.
Yeah, but they go into rent. But what appropriate, or how he makes it sound is like, and yes, apparently, I believe we've heard this ourselves, is that you will probably be able to pay your rent in real life dollars eventually. But what he does not mention is that once you buy this game, you're not paying a $15 subscription fee a month. or $10 subscription fee a month, you're playing it for the life of the game. Now, there's a big difference here, and he mentions UO and goes back and forth. UO is 18 years old, and people are still paying to play that game to this day. So where they bash that model and rent on a property that is an in-game gold nonetheless. Yes, if you want to pay out of your pocket because you don't have time and you want to do that, that'll be great for those people who, time versus money thing, which Richard Garriott is a very big fan of. I have more money than time. I can buy that Uber sword from that player instead of having to spend hours going out and creating and crafting it myself. He's a strong believer in that kind of system. But he never mentions the fact that there is no fees. And it makes it sound like rent is going to cost you some ungodly type of money.
Still, one thing I can't understand, how you cannot get upset about this. Like, raging about,
Well, it's people that misconstrue pay to win, and
yeah, that's
so,
the topic.
Yeah, so it's misconstrued because it's like I have a Duke pledge, Laz has a Duke pledge. Okay, that's easy to see by looking at our deed list as well as looking at the titles we have in game. But it's one where it's like that does not give us any better grounding as far as combat goes, or even making our way in the game. It just means that we have spent more money to fund the development of the game than most people.
And we get pretty shiny things like, the stuff we bought, like these outhouses and the teletype and the greenhouse I have in the background. But we pledged to support the game to do this. And that's, one of the things about it. We're pledging because we want to see the game built. We're spending that kind of money because we believe that they can build the kind of game that we want and other people's want to play. So $12,000 to some people who have it to help develop and, yes, receive a castle lot as a pledge reward. I believe they should get some kind of reward in return for that kind of pledge backing development. It only makes sense. Unlike buying ships in a game where your ship gets blown up and it goes bye-bye and you lose your money altogether, that I don't understand. That's another story in itself.
Yeah, but to get back to the pay to win, it would only be if you could buy the mounts only with your live money. But as far as I've seen it from the game, you can acquire a mount without real life money, don't you?
Well, yeah, that and actually all the gear that's crafted in game is better than anything that you can start off with.
Correct.
All of the gear that you get with your pledge reward is essentially starter gear.
Yeah, and more or less
It might look
about
cool,
reputation.
but it's that just means it's like, hey, I was an early backer of the game. What were you?
Yeah, that's...
And that really isn't about winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still, we need to overthink gaming. It's always about reputation. I mean, look at CSGO, for example. Buying tons of skins
my stat track
for real life
butterfly
money.
knife is not cool?
Yeah, it's cool. It's all about reputation, isn't it?
And I've
You
got
got
the
a stat track
screenshot where
butterfly?
I opened it. Yes, I do have a stat track butterfly.
Nice.
Actually, all of my guns are stat track.
Yeah. It's always something like this.
What is this, Counter-Strike?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike, it's all about reputation. If you have... no. It's just about, you have money, you got reputation, whatever. Nothing where you should say, yeah, you get better weapons or something like this. It's the same like here in this game, just that Counter-Strike is already fully developed.
Yeah, but even it's the funny thing about it is skins don't give a burst better aim, and it doesn't actually enhance a person's ability to do more damage. It's the same thing with this game. Skins are just something that can be acquired and they don't always say do something that's better. The difference is that in this game, you actually have things that can be crafted in game that are better
than anything you can buy.
Than anything that you can buy from the add-on store or from any of the pledge tiers.
Now, again, most of what is for sale, he does make a point, is in the real estate market. It's real estate and housing decor, and things to pretty up your lots with. There are a couple pieces of armor, the elven armor, in a stretch goal store that's probably never going to make the stretch goal. You don't find any armor in the add-on store. You don't find any weapons in the add-on store. You don't find anything really in there that maybe perhaps the prosperity tools that give you a little bit of an edge in mining. But that's,
Yeah, they give +1 and they're indestructible. So the closest that you can really go to pay to win is the prosperity tools.
Yeah, and they're available out there. And again, it's a way to raise capital, keep the doors open, and pay the bills. Anybody doesn't understand that. Again, this is not one of the big conglomerates. This is not, Blizzard Entertainment out there. This is not
or there's
EA
not a
Games.
development studio funneling in cash to keep the doors open.
Exactly. They don't have 100 art designers and 30 coders, and that's just not the way it's being done here. Every penny's accounted for.
Yeah, that's still a good thing.
It
keeps the game personal.
And the way Richard and Starr describe it is they work for us. Okay, they're building this game for us because we believe that they can build it, and we are the people putting the money behind it. And I've been shouting it out from the top of my lungs since day one. People don't get it, and people aren't going to get it until they get it, if that makes sense to anybody out there. Once they realize what's going on and how genius the idea is if you build it, they will come, is basically the concept. But in order to build it, we need to fund it. And there are people like Jack and myself and hundreds, thousands of others right now who believe that if we keep funding this project, and we'd love to keep funding it for 5 more years if we could, before launch, to get it just perfect. But we understand it's going to be a growing, breathing, living community, which it already is. And for us, this is what we want. We want to see this, and we want to help fund it and bring it to its greatest fruition that can be brought. And if people don't get that, oh well, you're lost. That's the way I look at it.
Well, it also seems to me the author of the article didn't imagine about what would have happened if someone like EA or whatever other publisher would have been behind this game. Would have ended in a... it would have been
if you look at
ended.
Well, again, if it was a big publisher,
games that have DLCs available for them, that's what the game would become. It's like, hey, you have to buy this DLC if you ever actually want to do anything. And so it becomes DLC after DLC after DLC that you have to have.
Now, I'll show you another model, which is, just I love going to for just what it can do. Second Life, where they made the world where people like you and me can actually create stuff and insert it into the world and sell it to other players. Okay. Not those kind of models, Casey. Get your mind out of the gutter. You'll drag us down there eventually, I'm sure. And I was hoping that they may go that way with this game, and it's still possible they may allow it with the crowdsourcing they've done. But the doors are wide open. If it was EA doing something like that and saying that we needed to raise money for capital, people would have looked at them like they got a freaking hole in their head. Where do you get off charging, for and even then, they get away with it with upgrades, modules, combo packs, and they just sell it in upgrades, basically. So what's the difference? Look at the Sims. How many iterations of the Sims have come out, and how many add-ons and party packs and pet packs and housing packs. have they gouged those customers for over the years, literally. You know,
It would have been a lot.
you know.
That
So
is a lot.
it's been done. It's not like it hasn't been done by the big publishers, but in this way we're looking at it, this way we're doing it, we don't see it that way. As again, another phrase coined by Star is code development. We, the community, are helping alongside of the developers with active bug information, with active testing, with active stress testing, feedback, and the biggest, financial backing. If you don't have the financial backing, we don't have a game. And what more is there to say? Jack, sorry I hijacked your tirade there.
It's all good. It's
You
all
know,
good.
But
I'm reading comments.
what's that?
I'm reading comments.
Oh yeah, we got into those yesterday as well. Is there any real new ones since yesterday? I mean, now we have a whole forum topic in the Shroud of the Avatar
Yeah, it's
forums
5
on
pages
this.
long, but they're not even focused on. They're not even really focused on analyzing the article and what it actually says. Instead, they're getting off on all kinds of tangents.
Well, that's
in the
nothing new in our
forums.
forums.
Yeah, and it's like with the guy that thinks that, hey, the reason facial customizations haven't come online yet is because they're going to charge for them.
Yeah,
It's like,
$200
no,
for a
that's not the
mustache.
case.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that line.
And then from there, I'm just annoyed at this article just because I think it's so poorly researched, and it's
Some more
It
in
serves
depth
no
could have
purpose.
been done. I definitely agree there. Yeah, while he does go a little bit more in depth of explaining things, I don't think it was explained properly. I don't think there was time or thought put into properly. Just, yeah, I agree. Poorly done, our opinion here. So on that review, Laz and Jack give it 2 thumbs down.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's basically what it is. When you think about it, what the hell, you know? We just created a new feature, for crying out loud. What do we think of this article? What do we think of that?
I was going to give it instead
thumbs
of
up,
thumbs
thumbs
down,
down?
middle finger.
What? 2 thumbs down and a finger? Is that what you
The
said?
middle finger.
Well,
Yeah. I give it half of a fat-free muffin.
half of a fat-free muffin from Casey. Oh. I don't know what it is about gluten.
Because you know those fat-free muffins taste like utter crap.
And they're naked cupcakes, so they got like double whammy.
Naked.
Oh.
Let's get naked.
Yeah, normally that's a good thing until you're talking about cupcakes. They need to be slathered in something.
Yes, as cupcakes
Okay, let's
are
talk
always
about
better when they're
happier
frosted.
things. Happier things.
Wait a moment.
Oh,
I just
now,
want to ask you one thing, Jack.
did you tell
Huh?
Casey about what you read in the stand-up corner yesterday? I'm
What-
sure he probably
the
already
cupcake
knew.
recipe in the game that I found.
What's that? There's something they were working on. I'm sure Casey probably already
I
knew.
like that. What?
What? Making Lord British say what?
50% package loss.
I think Casey's threatening to cut
Yeah.
someone's head off now.
Yeah, Casey doesn't like Scrotus taking his musical spotlight over here, but, you know, I haven't seen Casey take an instrument out or try and even play anything himself, so I don't see him in a position to complain there. Or collaborating with Scrota and getting some real jams going on in the background. I mean, come on, Casey, what are you doing over here to us? He's got his chaos demon out again. Jacob White slid in on us over there. Hello, Jacob. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Good morning.
Jacob White, creator of SodaMap.com. You'll never get lost again, Novia. You'll find everything you need in this comprehensive map, including letting town owners lay out their towns on the map. clickable links to things, shareable links that you can share with friends to say, hey, look at this, or here's where you find this vendor. Check out sodamap.com, man. He does a great job with that stuff. Constantly up to date. And give him a pat in the back. It's an invaluable tool. As Lord British said, sodamap.com is truth. The developers themselves go and use SodaMap when they got to look something up, which I love. And again, this goes to show you back to the point of, this other topic we're on. Without community and active development helping to support with things like this, I hope Jacob gets to work with these guys maybe someday and get that map incorporated directly into the game. That would be my wishes for him, but that's totally up to him and them. But I'm gonna scream it out until we find out otherwise. I love it that much.
All right, now let's back this up again. What's this about cupcakes?
Cupcakes? What?
Oh no, I was talking about the cane, but Jack just wasn't getting my cue on that one apparently.
No, I was just teasing Casey, saying that there's a cupcakes recipe in game.
Oh well,
No, but see, Casey has challenged me to a duel.
Oh, I think we need some fighting music.
Yes.
That's funny.
Come on, hit harder, you pansy.
You ain't got nothing on this. You're
Yeah,
too
touch
funny.
me. No,
You guys are
I
too
accepted
funny.
the duel, then I forfeited.
Now, Kendrick mentioned yesterday that we should talk a little bit more about combat and the changes that are being made. We haven't covered that in a while. And maybe we'll have to take a dive down that hole again here sometime in the future, just to put a little bug in your brain there. But we do have
Casey
a
would
couple.
have to come back and fight me again.
We do have.
I don't know where
something.
Casey's running to.
I don't know. Running up to the
Not
bank to
running.
get his glass sword, maybe. Gonna use that one-hit wonder on you,
Probably just to kill. Yeah.
because he knows he'll get it back one more time. And let's see what goes on over there.
It doesn't matter. It's like
I know. We get to
I'm
see
so
the
dead no
Chaos
matter
Demon
what.
in action here, though. Get to see some of his animations.
It's like there. I'm dead. Oh no! I lost a lesser elven bow and a sooty bark.
City Bark.
Yeah, sooty bark.
Let's see, what do I get out of the Horn of Plenty today? It doesn't seem to do anything too early, I guess. I guess I have to try again in a little while here. Should be ready again. But I got this picture up here. We were talking about this beforehand. This comes out of the pictures from the Daily Britannian. And where did that go? Where are my pictures?
And I didn't even put my corpse on your lot.
Thank you. Thank you for not dying on the line.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Let me see if I can pull this over.
Okay, so let's see. What are we going to talk about? Do we want to talk about a certain picture that you wanted to talk about?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to throw this up there because I thought it was really killer and cute, and I love to see, the tech as well as the kids getting into Shroud of the Avatar here, and
What I like the fact is that Richard Garrett actually retweets that.
Yes. Now, going on here is we've got this young gentleman. I don't know, what is he? Looks like maybe 10 years old, if that.
Yeah, something like that. 8 to 10. And I believe they had some problem on the Mac client, and they finally got it working again. And so they're logged back in, and so that's what that pictures of.
But the fact is that, he helped get the workaround, and, he's playing Shroud of the Avatar, I guess, with his dad or his mom. Great to see that out there, Back in our day, I actually got my father, into video games and not the other way around, because we were the generation coming up with them. But what else did we have out there? We had a couple other things on the plate here. Don't have a new stand-up corner yet. Oh yeah, this group.
You've got a lot of nothing.
No, well, there was this group I was invited to join the other day, and come to find out that we fall into a category on YouTube called fundamental YouTubism. And basically what that is people like ourselves, but usually in shorter bursts, 4 or 5 minute clips, where it's one take, one shot. You do it and you put it out there. And there's no editing, there's no modifying, there's no clipping. And doing this on a daily basis throws you into this category, apparently. And I got invited by the moderator, Stella Moon, who is also a big fan of Shroud of the Avatar, she says. I believe it's a she. He says, she says, Stella Moon says. Big shout out to whoever that is until I meet them in game.
Stella Moon.
Yes.
Player.
Yes.
That's their in-game name, Stella Moon.
Oh, you know Stella?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't recall having. I just added him to my list, but I was invited over to that channel, and I didn't realize that what we were doing was something that was actually faddish out there. We do a live show here every day. We don't do any edits. We don't do nothing. Everything you see on screen is, right here and now. And as soon as it's done, we shoot it off and put it on YouTube. And there's loads and loads of people doing this out there. So it's interesting to see that we actually have a category of video classification for the kind of show we do out there on YouTube. I thought it might be interesting, but Jack sounds like he's fell asleep over there.
Yeah, I did.
And, I got Shroud playing Desperado in the background, just dragging me down over here. Jeez. No respect, I tell you.
I could show you no respect, but it would involve going to a horse domain.
What's this? Never mind, I probably don't want to know. Oh, yeah.
It's actually kind of funny.
What's that? Is it PG-13 we could share with the audience? Or?
So let's go ahead and do this on screen. Just type that URL in.
Not seeing a URL.
That bad.horse.
Oh.
Type that in as a URL.
Yeah, I'm not putting that on screen just yet.
Bad horse, bad horse, bad horse.
Okay. I guess that's not too bad.
Now, do you know how to do a trace route?
Yeah?
Okay. Do the trace route to the same thing.
Okay. You're gonna make me work here.
Eventually, you'll start getting to the fun domains.
Yeah.
So this is how you kill time. Doing
I'm
a
killing
trace route on screen.
I'm watching this, but
Are you sure?
I don't
you
have it
gotten
on
down to
screen at the
that
moment.
horror-
because my trace route is
Oh.
taking forever and a day over here.
No, but that's part of the fun. As it takes forever, did you start getting to the bad horrors, bad horrors, bad horrors, bad horrors, bad horse? He rides across the nation, the thoroughbred is sin. He got the application that you just sent in. It needs evaluation, so let the games begin. A heinous crime, a show of force, a murder would be nice, of course. Ooh, bad horse.
Okay, so the lyrics come up. That's cute.
It's part of the trace route.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That is cute. But I actually have something Shroud and the Avatar related to talk about. And of course, it's pertaining to one of our sponsors, Relic Spy Rilled out there. I guess I can get this mess off my screen there. Oh, excuse me.
If you're falling asleep, Casey.
Am I falling
Casey's
asleep?
fine.
No.
Yep.
Yeah,
Are you
we
sure?
got these in the mail the other day.
Oh, you got your Relics by Reeled coffee mugs?
Yes, the set of 4. And the set of 4, of course, like the Shroud and the Avatar add-on store, when you bundle them, you save a bundle. These bad boys, $15 a piece in the store, or $45 for the 4-pack, saving you, of course, $15 off of the 4 price. And then, of course, if you throw in your promo code, NBNN.
Your 10% for using NBNN.
But man, I tell you, I don't know if the camera is doing these any justice. I got some glare coming in there. But they are as spectacular as they looked in the previews that we saw in the pictures we saw. And wonderful packaging job if you're worried about getting them safe and sound. These are packed. Yeah, these aren't breaking on shipping. I mean, these things were done nice. But yeah, I'll show you the artwork. And a couple more nice shiny baubles added to the collection here.
Hey, Laz, did you burp on air?
Did I what?
Was that you that burped on air, or was that me?
Oh, that might have been me. I thought I said excuse me. I do drink Pepsi throughout the show. It's a pretty gassy,
Yeah.
pretty
I think the
gassy
funny part
beverage.
is- was it me that burped, possibly?
I don't know.
it wasn't me.
Did
It's
I
like,
just
did
poop
do
my
that?
pants?
Burp.
I know I'm wearing the brown pants, but did something fall out?
Oh, I did request that they change the which portion of the Cupid diaper could be dyed, so that whenever you do secondary, instead of being like the trim, it would be a line down the middle, front to back.
Yes.
Now, of course, I was mentioning canes earlier, and you guys didn't seem to be excited about that. Casey, any comments?
About
Canes?
the skid mark? Yeah, I told Jack yesterday when we were on, he shared it, that I was glad I didn't have to keep it completely secret anymore.
Yeah. Now, have you actually had an inside look at them by any chance? Or you just happen to know about them?
I have some knowledge on them. I don't know.
He got the art approval.
I don't know any of like the functionality or anything like that.
And then, of course, you said you had your voice recorded the other day. Can we talk about that?
For the elves.
Yeah,
Oh,
for the elves.
Is he going to be an elf?
We'll see. Like, it was just like a bunch of various noises. You know, Leo, he'll listen to them and see what sounds good out of
Leo,
all
the
the
sound
various.
guy.
Yeah, he'll do good.
Well, we've
I
heard
was
some
hoping
really
he would
great
give him,
stuff
like,
so far.
Keebler elf voices. Sounds all, you know. I make elves cookies in a tree.
I
we'll
make
see how that goes.
cupcakes.
I have been
Come
working
find
on
me
a
for your magical cupcakes.
bottle for Sienna in the office for scorpion juice. I've been etching. So we'll see. You'll get to see that when it's done.
You're etching what? One of the Tito's bottles or a specialty bottle to hold scorpion juice?
Specialty, like new purchased bottle. I'm etching for the scorpion juice only.
Ah, so that Sierra can put the scorpion juice and put it into this bottle, is what you're saying.
Sienna Thorn.
Sienna, I'm sorry. Sienna, I knew that.
Yeah, so they can store it, pour it out of, and so forth. So it's got its own dedicated.
Now, how much tequila did they actually get delivered over there? I heard them talk about that last week.
Well, someone sent them 6 bottles of
6
tequila.
bottles, okay. That's a lot of tequila.
Their old offices, since you were only there when they were cleaning it up, the glass display case that they used to have in the old office, the top of it was actually just filled with empty liquor bottles of
Yes, I've seen pictures.
stuff that backers of the game had sent to them or delivered to them.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of
And that didn't
what it
even
looked
have-
like beforehand.
Or it may or may not have had the Tito's bottle that I took down there with me. That first time that Casey went down there with his 12-pack of PBR.
PBR.
And Tito's. Yeah, with Tito's, I did not bring PBR.
Tito's and PBR.
What do you think? They have a bunch of
Lone
hipsters
Star.
down there?
Texas.
Bringing down
Sorry,
PBR?
Lone Star.
Now, Shroud
It's
has
almost
just
as
been
bad as
jamming here
PBR.
throughout the show. There's
I think I heard some Metallica in there.
been all sorts of interesting
My-
stuff he's been throwing into the mix. And, of course,
My instrument volume was way down.
I've been going up and down as the rain started, so I had to bring it back down. Of course, weather, another thing in the game. Going to have some fun stuff with there. And I've heard people chime in that they want the ability to turn off the effects. I'm starting to lean towards I would like to have that option because it just seems to rain too damn often.
Well, I'm waiting for us to figure out the math of when it rains and doesn't rain, so that way we can actually do forecasts.
Well, we've been following Bowen Bloodgood's progress. I haven't seen anything new coming out of him lately. He's been the chief astronomy scholar, as it may be. He's the one studying is trying to get a grasp on how the system works. I know I started playing with the moon gates, and I've heard this, I've heard that. I just haven't had the time to do it. To go sit on the other side of the moon gate and see what times the gate's open, going where, see what the moon says, see what time of day it is, and maybe that'll give us a little bit of an insight. But it's our understanding there's going to be more gates coming in, there's going to be more stuff that have influence. So trying to pin that down with half the information just doesn't make sense to me at this point. Yeah, we can get a
Everything's
sense.
got to be refined.
Yeah, but you get a sense, but for all that time, energy, just to have to do it again, and again, my basic principle, I don't want to burn it out. I don't want to burn out sitting there, over and over and over. before we get to release. Hence why we sit here and talk and do a talk show. But we're going to start wrapping it up here. We're coming up to the 10-minute mark, and as we both know, that final 10 minutes can be, flying by here in the last couple of minutes.
Don't know what you're talking about. The
didn't have-
last 10 minutes are always the fastest.
Yeah, they just never have enough time to fit in everything in that last 10 minutes, even though we got nothing. We did not have a stand-up corner today. Of course, tomorrow we'll probably have several of them. We're looking forward to tomorrow's newsletter. Tomorrow evening we'll have a Friday newsletter, see what is the latest developments coming up in Shroud and the Avatar. And then, of course, we've got our calendar.
For some reason, I got distracted by something called Stand Up and Shout.
Stand up and shout. What is stand up and shout? Ah!
Do you remember the movie Rockstar?
Can't say that I do. But then there's a lot of things I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's my line.
It had Marky Mark playing a rock star, kind of loosely based off of Judas Priest and Rob Halford.
Oh no, I would remember seeing something like that, I would believe.
Yeah. So go watch the movie Rocks. It's pretty good. It's got some like cheesy 80s metal in it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I like cheesy 80s metal.
Casey, you know you
I
can
still
quit.
listen to cheesy 80s metal.
Yeah, so do I. I still want to see
big hair.
Manowar live in concert.
You still want to see what?
During
Okay,
any
so
concert, gotta
let's-
bring me the horizon.
No, you got to get a Manowar.
Casey's funny.
If I was in Europe, I'd fit right in with a bunch of people. In the US, they're like, who the hell is Manowar?
Oh, Manowar had some great stuff back in the day. When they were in
Blow your
their
speakers.
heyday, I was actually living in Germany. I was in Bitburg listening to Manowar and those guys.
See, you were in Europe. If you
Yeah.
were in the US, you'd be like, who the hell is Manowar?
Oh no! See, I had the privilege of being overseas when all that stuff was coming out, so I was listening to those guys. Actually, I got a whole bunch of their CDs from Europe sitting over here right in the corner. Yeah, I got a lot of that classic stuff.
Yeah,
Fighting the world.
I have some of it too.
Okay,
Okay,
great
so
stuff.
we might as well do our thanks just because we're now down to 7 minutes remaining.
Well, let's get the calendar out of the way.
So-
You want to do the thank
Okay, get the
yous
calendar
first?
out of the way first.
Yeah, let's get the calendar out of the way, and
Calendar.
we'll thank
Calendar.
everybody, and then we'll exit on out of here today. Let me get the calendar up on screen. For
Okay,
you.
so calendar is nbnn.info. Just click on the calendar button. Remember, all the calendar is provided to us by our friends over at Avatar Circle. It is a community calendar. If you want to link to that calendar with your own Google Calendar, you can. From there, you can always filter events and who's doing what, just using the drop-down menu. So today is Thursday, February 11th. All times are Central Standard Time, which is New Britannia time in-game. So today at 4 p.m. we have Golden Wing Okan out on Avatar's radio because it's 5 o'clock on the east coast of the U.S. I at least muted myself from my burp, so it wasn't going out over the air. At 6 o'clock on Avatar's radio, we have Dr. DJ Selly with Faster and Louder because he likes to play the 70s and 80s guitar rock that we oh so love. If I had hair, I'd bang that head that does not bang. This is giving me stuff about the cupcake recipes not being in game. So 7 o'clock, if you're interested in some PvE, you can always join Kazan Phoenix Fire or Malakis with the Phoenix Republic PvE nights. They're going to be doing some sort of foray into control points, dungeons, and or other places. So then at 8 o'clock on Avatars Radio, DJ Striker Sparhawk is going with his eclectic flow of tunes with the show titled Lost in the Spaces.
Lost in the Spaces.
While you're listening to DJ Striker Sparhawk, you can always go to Pestilence event, which is going to be Gladiator Awards, which is held in the town of Finchfield. Registration for the Gladiator Awards was between 8 and 8:50, and then from there the actual battles begin at 9 o'clock. There is a post on the forums about the Gladiator Wars and what all is going to be done. And then from there, you can always zone to Pestilence to join in. At 10 o'clock on Avatars Radio, Apollox Evanhart is doing the Timber Tantrum T-Days. So, playing some loud, proud, and aggressive rock. So we'll see how that turns out. And that's all the events for Thursday, February 11th.
And a few events out there for the folks. And of course, like we always say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, usually slower days in the week. Picks up through the weekends. And of course, tomorrow we'll cover the weekend update, bring you a whole calendar for the weekend, minus media events, since it is a huge calendar, as you'll see here still on my screen as I scroll. And of course, if you got anything you want to tell us, you want to get shouted out, let the folks know what's going on in the world.
I think we forgot to thank our friends over at Soda Taming today. If you're looking for taming statistics and what's best to tame at what level, go ahead and visit our friends over at Soda Taming. And during that discussion of that article on gray market, things like that, we did not really discuss Shroud Marketplace, which would have been a great time to do that. But you know what? Shroud Marketplace is the place to go if you're looking for anything Shroud of the Avatar related.
Now, I was going to say, if he thinks the land boom is just there, I don't think they realize how much of a land boom is going to come secondary once we finally get live with this.
After Final Wipe, that's when the land boom is really going to start taking off. And then from there, you end up with the ability to people to actually set rents up and publish those on different websites, including Shroud Marketplace, if they're interested in renting out their player-owned town. And Casey
February
did want to
20th.
say, yes.
On February 20th, Saturday, we are going to be having a player gathering. I need to get a head count, so if you're interested in going, please let me know, and I will be making a post about it as well. It's going to be a pretty fun one, so I encourage you to go. I'm playing a game that's in development now.
No, it's already been developed.
And where is this
There
happening?
you go. Here in Austin.
Oh, okay. For a local players gathering meeting?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Anybody that wants to come, anybody.
Well, I'm just going to go hop on a plane. I'll come to Austin to play some games, and I'll go home. and
Oh,
go
you
to
got
bed.
the money to buy towns and stuff, but not like do stuff in real life.
Yes. Yeah.
But I guess you can't win at real life by like buying a town.
Is I'm flying into Austin. I'm coming into Austin at least twice this year. So
Pay to win.
is,
Exactly. That was my little
Yeah.
hint. It was you paid away.
I was going to say if I have to pay to come to Austin to beat you in a game, I may have to do that just because I could.
just take away his game.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, I want to say thank you, of course, to all our sponsors, Relic Spry Rail, SodaMap.com, SodaTaming.com, SodaCraft.com, our latest Patreon, Mike Lauer. We appreciate it. All our followers on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere we're at. In-game here, without you guys, of course, like Jack says, wouldn't be possible. Of course, you never said a shout out to
Dreadfully despised.
no,
He's not in channel
Justin.
today.
We never shouted Justin out today. I'm sure she's out there. Or was that
Oh, I'm sorry.
part of the text you were getting
Sorry,
earlier?
That was the burp one. Then it's like, was that me or is that you?
Ah, okay. Sorry. Alrighty, well, that's going to about wrap it up for us today, folks. I'm
That
Laz.
was Casey. I'm Jack.
It's Casey Cupcakes.
With a burp.
With a burp.
Stay tuned, NBNN, for more news, sports, entertainment, crazy wild happenings, burps, and anything else we can think of. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I
everybody.
prefer coming out the top.
Thank you, Scroda, for the music, too. We do appreciate it, even though you're
Yes,
making
thank you.
Casey mad. Sorry, Casey. Scroda, actually. I love you, man.
So do we.